with Jesse in the middle.
Oh wow, it really is.
It's a
That's
Jesus
unintentional.
allegory.
Oh,
fuck.
shit.
Oh god,
He's
it's
just a
Christopher
man.
Nolan doing this one.
Yeah, those stupid
Yeah.
fucking audiences eat that shit up.
Oh, Zack
Yeah,
Snyder. Fuck me. I hate this show. I'm not doing it. I can't.
Yeah, Brian volunteered to come on to save everybody else. If you look in episode 1, he's pouring wine for everybody, but it's water before.
He's like, I have 2 holes in my hands, and he looks at the camera and just puts that out.
All right. So, you guys are led inside by Jesse. As you come inside, you see what looks like it was at one point, storage, cars coming and going. Like from a set, this is a place where people would park, deliver things. It's been kind of retrofit now. What I didn't display because, I couldn't find the imagery, but there's some computers over here, like stations that you'd imagine you could see camera viewports from. There's a little bit of an office space where very clearly Jesse works out of. And you see there is another door over here, but it is closed. And there are the 3 gentlemen. You have come to understand what their roles are respectively. Cameraman, Mike Guy, and Brian Bachman getting ready to film something, it looks like. And Jesse will just lead you further into the room. And he'll elaborate and say, this is what I was talking about. This is the garage. We do a lot of stuff out of here. You guys are not allowed back here. Normally. He'll point to the closed door. He'll say, that's the editor's room. Editor, IT, general tech whiz. Well, she's busy. We'll get to meet her later. And he'll point then to the set. And he'll say...
He's busy. Driving in my garage.
Do you want to see my garage?
It's the perfect freeze frame with the fucking parted teeth.
He's screaming, I didn't buy this. How'd this get here?
Yeah.
You know what it means more?
Look at my
than
son.
this? Logic.
Logic.
Looking back to y'all, he'll say, we're about to film the intro. You guys are going to line up on the wall there. You can watch if you like on the TVs. And then once Brian says his bit, you're going to go inside. Everything make sense?
Yeah, what are we going to be doing in there?
I think it's better just to let Brian introduce this one. I'm really not at liberty to say, but you'll find out soon enough.
Just put her hands up like, okay.
He'll look back at you all apologetically. He's a pretty listless kind of guy, but he's obviously not thrilled to be here or be doing what he's doing. And he'll say, generally sorry for every one of you to be in this position. I recognize this is kind of a position of privilege to be on the other side. If I can do anything within reason, please let me know.
No worries, man.
Carmine's going to cross his arms and he's just going to draw his attention to whatever monitor is closest to him, watching Brian sweat in his suit.
Brian is currently still rehearsing lines. He looks nervous and a bit dead-eyed as he's kind of talking to himself. Jesse will head over to these gentlemen if there's no more questions. And
I was gonna have a quick.
whoop, he comes back.
He's gonna walk over towards Jesse and he's just gonna say, so this Brian fella, does he have anyone that he's, well, trying to get out?
As far as he's told me, it's his aunt.
Oh, and do you believe him?
I mean, I have no reason not to believe the guy. Seems pretty stand-up kind of gentleman, down-home kind of dude, raised the right way. He kind of, does his fingers. He'll say he puts on a good show. He's a good personality, but outside of all that, he seems nice enough.
All right. That's all, Jesse. Thank you for clearing that up.
He'll give you the nod, and he'll look at everybody else and say, anything else? Great. Sit tight. I'll wave you in. And he'll go over here with these folks. And basically, Mac opening up a million other documents. Where'd my roll 20 go? Simon, the young man with his skull shirt, was sitting behind a camera, and he'll look at Jesse and say, we're rolling. Jesse will point to Gil and say, roll sound. Gil will confirm and say, we're speeding. Which Jesse will hold up his fingers and count from 3, 2, 1, and he'll point at Brian and say, action. And I'm gonna switch the music. Brian, who has been staring kind of dead-eyed into middle distance, sort of suddenly comes to life, turning in front of the camera as a charismatic man would, and says, if you're watching this, stop and ask yourself, am I a good person? A study concluded earlier this year shows that 81% of Americans believe that answer to the question is yes. But let's take it a step further. If I asked you instead, are you the best person you know? Would your answer change? For a staggering 46% of Americans, nearly 1 in every 2 people, the answer was still yes. So let's do some math here. If 81% of people are so good, and half of that group has somehow transcended to an even better behaved group of social paragons, why is there still so much suffering in the world? In the same study, when asked to consider their homes, their communities, and their social interactions, both in person and online, were these people truly happy? Only 14% said yes. So how is it that so many people in our society believe they are good, and yet so many others are experiencing such a poor quality of life? Why is our society so ravaged by things like poverty, greed, violence, racism, and hate? What does it mean to be a good person? And can you even be a good person in today's wantless world? If you had the chance to look at yourself through someone else's eyes and didn't like what you see, would you make a change? And what is the worst thing you could do and still be a good person? Well, that's what we're here to find out. This is Save Me, the ultimate social experiment where an entity known only as the producer has retained 5 people beloved by our 5 contestants to compete in the reality competition of their loved ones' lives. Each week, our contestants will challenge themselves, their notions of community and society, on what it is to be a good person. If they succeed, their loved ones might just walk free. And if they don't, let's just say there'll be a few less people on next year's social survey. I'm Brian Bachman, and this is Save Me. And he will receive the cut call from Jesse and kind of go back to his dead-eyed staring.
Jesus.
Josephine is not smiling. It's just a flat, dead face, I imagine, watching the screen.
Jesse is going to then tap a microphone in his ear, and he's going to point you all toward a door right over here.
Jeez.
He's basically indicating you all stand there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry. Hold on a sec. I was trying to say if I need to flip the music. I think we're good for now. Brian will then say, before our contestants are able to fully experience Save Me Mansion, we've got a little bit of something in store. We're going to do what's called an opening challenge. A good way to break the ice, if you will. Our contestants are going to walk into the Save Me Manor for the first time. Let's take a look. And,
He emerges from behind a shrub like Steve Irwin. Let's take a closer look.
And as he says that, Jesse's going to direct him first to the door to get in position. And as he walks by you, it's kind of like a funeral procession. He can't actually bring himself to look at any of you.
Jeez.
And he will head in first. And then once Jesse gets confirmation that he's there, he's going to wave you all in. Let me set this room up. Alrighty.
While he's doing that,
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
I would like to try to notice for cameras in the garage.
Absolutely, you may do that.
And once again, I am specifically looking for vulnerabilities if there are any blind spots. Wow.
Whoa. I think with that roll, you are, whatever the reasoning may be, either you're caught up in what's going on in front of you, or, you know, they're just incredibly obscured in all of the stuff that is in here. You are not able to spot the cameras in this room.
Yeah, I like a shot of him looking around and like fucking the studio lights just kind of blinding him.
Hey, Carmine, this way.
Yeah, right.
You guys are... Basically, Jesse sees you off at the door, but he does not follow you in. Maybe that's the first real sign that shit's about to get real, and you guys heads directly into a room. It spills out onto a little couch with Brian standing over by 2 monitors and a single pad. I don't know what to call this, like a kiosk in the middle. Feel free to drag yourself in. Or don't, you know, whatever you want. I'm not your mom. I think everyone did an awkward shuffle.
Shuffle.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. It's like a movie theater.
There's a second couch over there. Why are we doing this? There you
Excuse
go.
me. Pardon me.
Thanks, Trent.
Oh,
Should
I was
stand
gonna.
up?
Just
Is
right
it
here.
easier if I stand up?
Excuse me.
Should I?
No, it's.
Actually, I'm sorry.
Pardon me.
I had D4. Are you?
It doesn't fucking matter.
It's just that
I
I
like
like.
your butt, not your crotch. That's...
I know I bought my seat ahead of time.
These are those really incredibly loud leather seats that are just the loudest possible.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright, so you come into this room, and the 2 monitors here that say Save Me are actually going to say Icebreaker. There's nothing I can do about that now, but that's what they say.
I sent it to the printer and I tried to make a change at the last minute, and he said they were already printed, so it's out of my hands.
So,
they say save me on it, but in the beginning, can they say icebreaker?
so you guys all take a seat, unless you don't want to, but I'm assuming everyone takes a seat unless they tell me otherwise.
mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna resist this
Oops, I
bowling
just
alley couch.
pulled out the... How do I put the rolls back?
If you delete it, I think it will automatically show back up.
It didn't.
Shit. I think it's supposed to. Restart your Roll20. I thought if you dragged a pop out and you deleted it, it would just come back.
There
it
we go.
goes.
Okay, that was weird. Anyway. You all enter the space, and Brian is standing there, and there's a lot of visible cameras in this room. You don't even have to roll; they're pretty obvious. They're in like the four corners of each ceiling. You guys are fully on display. You've got your mic set in place. Brian looks at you and says, contestants, thank you for joining me. Please, take a seat and relax. Welcome to the deliberation room. Here you see you see that there are 2 monitors and 1 center console. The producer has assigned a special dilemma to each of you. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it's finally time for you to compete in your very first challenge here on Save Me. This is the Icebreaker Challenge. And he turns in place. He's got like a little you know those remotes that like flip TVs, like the
little clicker.
Yep, the clicker.
Like on a fucking PowerPoint.
Yeah, one of those things. Goes forward and back. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, you always. How do I go back a slide?
He goes back to, like, he goes too far forward. He starts at the end. He's like, oh shit.
Oh fuck. Well, Carmine, we know your lover got eliminated, so
Randomly, by America. He'll continue. Actually, I'm sorry. Step back. He'll use the remote. That was the whole point of the remote. You'll see on the screen that the screens will light up and they'll display several different scenarios in like different size frames, like from a courtroom or like a hospital, Wall Street, like a Midwestern suburb, and like a busy city intersection. And he'll turn back to you all as these like screensaver like scenes play out in front of you, and he'll say, one by one, I will call each of you to the podium, at which point you will be provided with a dilemma and 2 solutions. You'll then have 5 minutes to digest the information you are given and choose a solution. And you'll do so by locking in your answer at the podium. Now, here are the rules. When you're at the podium, you and you alone will decide the solution to your dilemma. You may not solicit your peers for advice or ask assistance. Doing so will result in your disqualification, and your loved one will be eliminated. Everyone will witness the decision being made at the podium. The contestants may talk amongst themselves, and they may voice their opinion. However, they may not approach the podium, threaten the deciding contestant, or otherwise interfere with the decision-making process. Doing so will result in the same penalties outlined in Rule 1. When you are the deciding player, you must make a binary decision, and if you fail to make a decision in 5 minutes, or refuse to make a decision altogether, you will be disqualified and your loved one will be eliminated. There is one thing the producer has asked me to make absolutely clear to you all. None of these dilemmas are hypothetical. You will be presented with a real dilemma with real life unknowing participants who will be awarded the benefits or suffer the consequences of your decision. Do not make your decision lightly, as this is a chance for the rest of the contestants to learn something about you. When the water is rising, how do you decide who gets a lifeline? Let's find out as we break the ice.
Fuck you, Brian.
Colonel Cornelius, please approach the podium.
It takes me like a full minute to like brush off my shirt and straighten it and tighten my bow tie and straighten my suspenders and scooch out of the leather seat. It takes like 4 steps to get out of the chair from my fully reclined position.
So I'm just going to say for reference, this is our little podium here. This picture did not do me the justice of making it easy to tell where it is in this black space.
Is there actually wine and shit in here too?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna start pouring a drink for myself.
You may absolutely. There's wine. There's wine glasses for you all if you're thirsty. They're way too high end for Trent.
Dompy.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Trent takes a sip and he goes, ugh.
Well, just a So Brian, now that he has gestured... Oh, my music stopped. Music is dead. Contestants,
Yeah.
please bring your attention to screen number 1. As you look up, a young man stands in handcuffs and an orange jumpsuit. He's in a courtroom surrounded by men and women in well-tailored suits and standing before a judge. The prosecutor, an older white woman, paces the floor and she's delivering a closing argument. There's no audio. It's just the visuals on a like a closed circuit television, so you can tell it's like coming directly from the courtroom from like a security surveillance camera. And Brian continues, and he says, "This is Andre Williams, a young man of 24 years who has been accused of battery against his girlfriend, Tonry Phillips Brown. Phillips Brown's mother was the sole witness of the alleged battery, aside from the victim herself. She claims that Williams became aggravated during the argument, and in his anger, he struck her several times. The victim received several bruises and lacerations around her face and neck. The accused maintains he did not attack the victim, and that she instead was injured in a fight between her and her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend while she was high, and that her mother wasn't there and is trying to save face. Furthermore, he claims the victim's mother never liked him. While a toxicology screening did confirm that there were traces of marijuana in Philip Brown's system at the time she sustained her injuries, only foreign DNA samples found on her body was that of Williams. If convicted, Williams will serve 10 to 25 years in prison." Now please bring your attention to screen number 2. On the second screen, an older white man stands in handcuffs and a gray jumpsuit. Different courtroom with a younger Latina woman in a red jacket and black shirt standing beside him. She's a public defender for his district. And across from him is a woman in a neck brace, a prominent black eye. She's surrounded by just a team of real legal eagles that you would be able to recognize as just a really, you know, the kind of thing you buy when you've got the money to have a lot of people defending you. And Brian continues to say, "This is Oscar Waters, a man of 61 years who has been accused of battery against his wife of 37 years. Mrs. Samantha Waters. Mr. Waters says that Mrs. Waters has been abusing her for years. She never had the courage to tell anyone until their eldest son noticed one of her bruises. She confronted Mr. Waters about this, and he beat her so severely he caused internal damage to her spine. There were no witnesses of the alleged battery, and Mrs. Waters' injuries are consistent with the assault described by the victim. The Waters couple live alone in a senior living apartment community, and their neighbors have nothing but good things to say about Mr. Waters. That said, they also say they rarely see him outside of his apartment. If convicted, Oscar Waters will serve 15 to 35 years in prison." So at this point, both screens now display the mugshots of both gentlemen. And yes, they display the mugshots of both gentlemen, and your choice lights up. The screen embedded in the tablet has a timer that reads 5 minutes, and it doesn't yet count down. 2 boxes appear. One reads option 1, one reads option 2. Brian looks at you, and he goes, "Man, I'm losing my place." He looks at you. He goes.
He goes.
And he says,
You
"As I
go."
stated, Colonel, you will have 5 minutes to make your decision."
He clicks option 2.
Right. It isn't. All right. He looks at you and says,
He looks Brian Bachman right in the eye with a soft old man expression, but his hand is confidently and resignedly on option 2, and then he just goes and puts them back in his pockets.
"Colonel Cornelius, I remind you that you have 5 minutes to make your decision.
Oh, that's all right. Without access to court documents and being on the case myself, none of which you will be providing, time nor experience, a lifetime of deliberation would not make a difference in the grimness of my choice, whatever it be.
So this is your final option.
He's walking back to his seat.
All right. Well, excellent choice. The results of your selection appear up on the screen, which I believe is number 2, so Mr. Waters, correct?
Yeah.
You're allowed to watch for a few minutes as both verdicts are read to the accused men simultaneously, and
Doesn't.
obviously
He,
one
tur-
man
he,
celebrates.
he turns away, he folds his elbow over his knee, and like goes and looks at the wall.
So you witness them both. You don't personally witness because you're turned away, but on the screen are both men, one celebrating and one in distress. Brian will say, "Thank you, Colonel Cornelius. You may take your seat, as you already have, and Trent, please approach the podium."
Tight, bro.
All right.
Contestants, please bring your attention back to screen number 1. On screen for you, Trent, there are several photos of a woman in her mid-30s. She's seen bicycling through the busy suburbs of the Pacific Northwest, doing yoga in an expensive-looking living room, and sitting with her hand on a shoulder of her teenage son at a birthday party. She's well-dressed in recognizable, expensive name-brand compression gear, and she's got the latest iPhone in her yoga pants pocket. Brian continues, "This is Alina Vasquez, a single mother who spends most of her free time biking, geocaching, and raising her son, Felix. She works in a high-paying job as administrator at a local distribution company. And between that and child support, she's managed to save up approximately $30,000, and she plans to spend it to send Felix to college when he graduates in 2025. Now please bring your attention to screen number 2. On the second screen for you, Trent, photos of a Korean-American woman in her mid-30s are shown. She appears to be in college. She's seen with her friends in the city, drinking outside of her apartment, standing on her campus with her arms out excitedly. She appears to be dressed more modestly priced clothing, and her hair looks like she dyes it herself. In the campus photo, her phone is shown to have a cracked screen. Brian says, "This is Joanne Song, college student at Lay University in Pennsylvania. She's been in school for almost 6 years now, after changing her major twice. She finally knows what she wants to do, and that's great because she's got enough student debt to keep her and her future children busy. She's not that worried about it, though, because working 3 jobs, she's managed to put away just under $11,000 with an early start on her loans after graduation. A decent apartment in Philly, she ought to be able to get a decent career and start sorting out her life." Both screens now display pictures of each woman. Elena, below Elena is the number 30,000, and below Joanne is the number 11,000. The console lights up in the same way with a 5-minute timer. And Brian looks at you and says, "By now you're wondering where you come in. Neither woman is about to go to jail. However, one of these women will be making a generous, anonymous, and non-refundable donation to charity. A very philanthropic effort, especially since they won't even know they're doing it. No, instead you, Trent, are going to decide which of these women will be wiring the other woman $10,000. The producer has engineered it so that one unsuspecting woman will donate their savings to a foundation created and held specifically by one of the producer's own aliases, operated overseas, who will then turn the money over to the other woman. All of the necessary applications will be filled out online from the proper IP addresses to using the correct pins of the parties involved, so you can rest assured that whoever you choose will keep that money. So which is it? Is little Felix going to get a boost to his college fund, or is Joanne getting a bigger place in the city of brotherly love? You know the rules. Lock in your choice with a thumbprint on the console. Your time starts now.
I mean, I feel either way, they can probably make that money back. They will seem like pretty hard workers.
Is he really gonna steal from a mom? Single mom?
This is Trent we're talking about, Kane.
Are you saying that out loud,
He's
or
saying that as,
Yeah.
She can afford
Okay.
yoga pants.
How old was the kid again?
Felix? I don't think I specified. He's teenage, so I'd say maybe like 15, 16.
Carmine's gonna call back? This kid has no fucking idea. He's probably just gonna choose left to right.
Okay, but let's talk about this like adults. She's had to work hard for that money. She lives alone, she works alone, and she's got a kid to raise.
And she's gonna put him through school too.
Yeah, and that's why you can't... That other woman made a choice, and yeah, it's going to be hard. She's going to have to work for that money, but... What, you're just going to take candy from a baby? Is that what this is?
I'll remind you, Trent, the choice is entirely your own.
Any other words from the peanut gallery over there?
What are your thoughts, Trent?
Oh, I don't know, the one girl's working really hard. But, I went to a trade school, so it's really not that expensive. Kid can just go to community college.
That
Or
girl
work
made
while
two
he's in high
choices.
school.
She made the wrong one the first off, and now she's trying to make cushy with the second. I get that. And she should make that choice, but she's got to know you're going to have to pay her way up. You make whatever choice you want. I just... Stealing from a kid, eh.
Trent has determined what he reckons to be the least amount of damage, or at least the most recoverable amount of damage realistic.
Trent, I'll remind you we have 3 minutes on the clock.
Trent,
Whatever
the
button-
left one is the one that makes the L.
No.
Hey man, could you shut the fuck up for
Yeah, I'm gonna
like
punch him
2
in-
seconds?
I punch him in the shoulder a little bit.
I'm throwing a soft provoke at you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, does nothing.
Hold on. I'm gonna see if this works. This will depend on how high your lore is.
Okay.
I just gotta think it was. I gotta think it was Zing.
Just gotta think of the Zang.
I'm bad at this already. Session
30
one is-
seconds remain.
Yeah, I will remind you, Carmine.
The zing's coming. Hold on.
He's just gonna say, look, why don't you do something meaningful for once and make a fucking decision? This is just for will damage. I can't provoke you to do anything. But you do
So
have to roll will against it. Depending on your lore.
So his lore is
I don't
low
have
enough.
lore.
Oh, okay, great. So you have to roll will as a defense.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh my
Another
gosh.
6 shifts.
Carmine, you're so mean to the children.
You say it just does will damage like that's a soft thing, but that's like an automatic condemnation to a consequence. This seems sucky for
So-
another player.
I can't provoke anybody to do anything. I can just do the damage part. But
That's-
there's a caveat based on lore.
So what is that, a moderate?
It'd be a moderate. I don't know your sheet.
Kiki feels you.
Oh, whoops. It's to actually do. Currently, whether you reroll or anything, it's actually just a 5. Because, as the attorney of absolute defense.
Nice.
Ah, there you go.
Wait, do you have damage to take it too, right? Like you have stress?
Do I have stress? Yeah.
Yeah, so then it'll bleed into a consequence depending on how high your will is, whatever your will stress is.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's a 6.
I can get that what is it? I can get that down to your 3 mental stress and a mild as Salisbury sits forward and says, Trent, he is talking above your pay grade, but make no mistake that Mr. Scorzoni's jabs are nothing more than lashes out into a world that has clearly been too unkind to him to be worth repaying.
Yeah, I know, he's a fucking asshole. And Trent is
2 minutes on
going...
the clock.
Yeah, Trent is going to give the money to... Not the mom.
George Lopez.
Oh, yeah, he
That's
Second,
comes
the
third
in,
third
option.
button.
the lowrider song starts, and he comes in from the screen left.
This button in the shape of George Lopez's silhouette. I don't know what this says.
He just comes in on the trampoline from the intro.
So, just for my clarity, really quick, you are choosing the 11,000 to get the money. You're choosing the okay,
Student.
great, student. Excellent.
All right.
Brian will continue and say, another excellent choice. The producer thanks you for a charitable donation on behalf of our foundation. Now, please take your seat. And Samuel, would you join me at the podium?
All right. Get the fuck out of here, Trent. Get the fuck out of here.
Trent, get the fuck out of here. Alright. As he has done before, he'll say, contestants, again, please bring your attention to screen number 1. On screen, a man with gaunt, yellow skin and dark circles under his eyes is shown laying in a hospital bed hooked up to a dialysis machine. Displayed through a room's CCTV camera, again, private feed channel. His tired eyes look into the middle distance during the whole process, and he appears to weigh only 110-ish pounds. He's losing hair. It's unclear how old he is based on this image, and based on the wrinkled, blotted, jaundiced skin that he's kind of got going on. Brian will continue and say, this is Stanley Warren, a sickly man of 41 who has been diagnosed and survived several diseases, including 3 different cancers. Most prominently, however, he currently suffers from chronic kidney disease, which has progressed to late-stage kidney failure. And as such, he is on dialysis every single day to keep himself alive, and is waiting for a kidney transplant. The transplant will allow him to reclaim his life, and free him from the confines of his hospital room. However, he was recently diagnosed with emphysema that is likely to end his life in 5 to 10 years. Now, please turn your attention to screen number 2. On screen 2, a young teenage girl also lay in her hospital bed. She appears to be in decent health comparatively, though notably she is receiving IV fluids. There are personal effects around her hospital room suggesting she will and or has been there for some time, including a photo of her and her father on the dresser, a stuffed animal, a Nintendo Switch in its cradle, and a Bluetooth speaker. He'll continue to say, this is Ali DeSavo. She just turned 16 years old. Unfortunately, for her birthday, she did not get the one thing she really wanted, a new kidney. She's advanced polycystic kidney disease.
All right.
And she's going to need a transplant if she wants to live to see college. Due to her extremely high blood pressure and other painful complications, she'll be in a hospital until her operation. Meanwhile, she's keeping up with her friends via social media, living vicariously through their posts as they get ready for sophomore year at Bentwood High. There's some good news for her, though. A donor is available, and immediately. Both screens light up. They show x-rays, partial x-rays of both patients' kidneys. Stanley Warren on one screen and Allie on the second. Screen lights up, same as it has for everybody. For you, Sam, box 1 for Stanley, box 2 for Allie, and a time of 5 minutes appears above it. And Brian says, I think you see where I'm going with this already. Samuel, one of these patients is receiving a kidney right now. Or rather, 5 minutes from now, when you've made your decision. The producer has procured a functioning kidney, matching the patient's shared blood type, and has confirmed the transplant will be possible. They have generously decided to allow you to gift this kidney to whichever patient you decide. The patient who does not receive a kidney will remain on their respective waiting lists, which means they could be waiting weeks, months, or even years. So now, it's up to you. Will you give Mr. Warren some reprieve from his dialysis so that he can spend the last of his disease-addled life in comparative comfort? Or will you afford young Allie the chance to experience high school in person, without fluorescent lights, rubber hoses, and needles, reminding her of how small her world serves to be for the next few years? Think this over carefully, and remember to lock in your answer with your thumbprint, because your time starts now.
Carmine, the doctor, is just gonna say, "Mangia fudge."
Oh, look, now he cares.
Oh, come on, $10,000 is $10,000. This is a kidney transplant.
Samuel's going to reach up and he's going to press the left button for the old man.
Interesting.
So he is picking...
Do we all know what this particular pressing this button means?
Yeah, the old man will get the kidney.
Yeah, he's pissing for the old man.
And then the little girl has to wait.
Alright, so, when you choose, the screens fade to black. The older gentleman comes to screen, and it says that he's been chosen to get a kidney. And in white text, it says that the estimated time of wait is 0 days. The young lady sitting next to him, who is not receiving a kidney, displays the text estimated wait 9 years, 10 months, and 17 days.
Whoa.
Brian says, That's a great choice, Samuel. He'd say the full name, Samuel.
Sammy Smith.
On behalf of Mr. Warren, the team here at Save Me thanks you for your selfless action to save this patient's life. Now please join the other contestants back on the couch, and Carmine, please come join me at the podium.
Carmine is going to finish his drink and then set it down on the table in front of him. And, yeah. He'll take a step and he's going to rest both hands on the podium, and he's just already going to be looking at screen one.
On screen,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's Sonic.
Yeah!
One,
Brian's like,
Mega Man X. The other one, Mega Man X2.
you have to kill one of these games
Can you-
forever.
You have to
How's
beat
never
my
coming?
high score.
Manhattan screen line is showed on the camera, and it pans to various skyscrapers that carve out the distinct shape of Times Square. Taxis pass, and the congested streets as a sea of people dissipates into, colors and shapes. Camera follows the unbroken line of buildings, and then we reach 200 West Street, the semicircle-shaped 44-story building that houses the global headquarters of Goldman Sachs. Brian says, "This is the headquarters of the Goldman Sachs Group." Wow, I'm not okay.
You blew up New York City or Los Angeles, California.
The International Investment Bank and Financial Services Company. Founded in 1869 by Marcus Goldman and his son-in-law Samuel Sachs, the company became publicly owned in 1906 and is currently operated by CEO David M. Solomon. It is one of the most profitable businesses in the world, with its stock valued at $410 per share and $44.6 billion in revenue, and $2.1 trillion in assets under its management. With 43,000 employees worldwide, they're an immovable cornerstone in the global economy. Though as an investment banking company, some may argue that only the wealthy elite enjoy their services. When your money makes money, you're in good hands with Goldman Sachs. Now please, bring your attention to screen number 2. On the second screen, we see a much more modest, but still humbly bustling suburb of Rockford, Illinois. Outside a particularly industrial-looking building on the downtown strip, a group of 20-somethings enjoys sandwiches wrapped in paper and craft beer in bottles. A local band is playing out front with a jazz guitar and saxophone combination filling the street with authentic hometown feel. Brian continues. This is CJ's Public House, a family-owned restaurant in Rockford, Illinois. Opened by Jim Columbi in 1969, his granddaughter Erica now runs the place, and they've been proud to say it's a family-owned business. For the entire 52 years, it's been serving classic pub food to the people of downtown Rockford. A pillar of the community, they host local musicians inside and outside their restaurant, and often feature food trucks out back to help support small businesses. Even as the pandemic ravaged the restaurant industry, they've managed to keep their doors open by cutting their hours, and they continue to profit almost $2 million a year in food sales. Though the family is lucky to see $100,000 of that to pay themselves and their small staff of 16 people after they've paid their bills. Both screens now display the logo of Goldman Sachs and the hand-painted logo for CJ's Public House on the 2 screens, respectively. Carmine's console lights up with the usual options, and the timer reads 5 minutes, and Brian continues. The producer has decided that the economy is just a little too crowded today. And so one of these businesses is going to need to relinquish their assets. That is to say, you're going to decide which one of these businesses is going to see their corporate accounts totally liquidated. A publicly owned company, choosing Goldman Sachs will set their stock value at negative $300 per share, and their corporate revenue emptied into the producer's personal account for use at later time in the competition. Family-owned CJs will see their own funds completely diminished, vanishing into a clerical glitch of their bank's computer system that will cost them their restaurant's mortgage. Likewise, their funds will be routed to the producer's account for later use. You alone, Carmine, will decide which one of these businesses sees the light of day tomorrow morning, and which one is closing their doors for the last time tonight. Choose wisely. Your time starts now.
All right, so which one is the one that loses the money, the one I pick?
That is correct. The one you pick.
He immediately puts his thumb down on CJ's Public House.
Oh no! Brian.
Yep.
Brian Lynch. Go ahead.
Well, that's a bitch, she says, but she recognizes the choice.
He turns over his shoulder and he says, I got stock in Goldman Sachs.
Of course you do, fucking doctor.
The producer's sweating, like,
Oh, no, Carmine.
no.
Carmine, pick the rich one.
We all have pub food now. That's Carmine.
Brian
Gonna
will
have
continue.
lobster.
The fucking producer's bank account goes from negative $1.78 to $41.
Carmine, goddamn!
Carmine, fuck. I thought we were all anti-capitalist here.
In that moment, I'd like to try to empathy. I guess essentially create advantage in the way of discovering the aspect most relevant to the shittiness Carmine just displayed.
You're not.
Oh, my dice do roll positive. Thank you, roll 20.
This isn't something I defend against, right?
Yeah,
No, it
deceit.
literally is.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a deceit.
Great.
Oh,
There you go.
Successful
Okay.
style.
So this is great. The only thing is I don't know which asset is the most
Let me take a look.
relevant because I want people to start discovering assets. So I was hoping that would succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I work at Goldman Sachs.
I know, I'm like I'm sweating.
Goldman Sachs employee lying about being a doctor.
It's my high concept. Like,
I mean, you know, it's kind of a narrow cast, so really just closest approximate answer, even if it's far off, you know, either way.
okay. Do you want it publicly? Or do you want me to message it to you?
I
Like, how do
mean-
we do this when we discover an aspect?
Depends on what you care about. I don't care about putting...
I don't necessarily care. And then for success with style, does he get 2?
I get 2 uses.
2 uses. Okay.
So you just keep track of that on your sheet.
This
okay,
is
Declan?
probably the closest. I know it's not super close, but I think it's probably the closest relevant one.
Maybe I should have asked for something vulnerable or incriminating.
Oh,
I didn't know it'd be
Like money.
so innocuous as that. As we
Yeah,
can
I'm
all
like-
see, he is a Staten Islander. Bet you didn't want us finding that out.
I would argue your trouble might be more relevant here,
I can give him my trouble.
and maybe another aspect.
and maybe all of them.
Just throw it
That's
in.
fine.
I'll have number 3.
I'll have a little bit. Maybe since I've had you throw them both out there, we should just do one on each rather than
Yeah,
2
sure.
on one, since
Sure.
we know now.
You're keeping track of that on your sheet, correct?
Yeah, I got it.
Great. Brian will continue and he'll say, Carmine, you've chosen to liquefy the assets of the family-owned CJ's Public House in Rockford, Illinois. I will remind you that you have 4 minutes and you'll look over 58 seconds to make your decision.
Yeah, you didn't give Chris Columbus a hard time.
Okay, excellent. Then you've chosen to liquefy CJ's Public House and assets and spare Goldman Sachs the burden of total financial collapse. I'm sure Wall Street will thank you. Please take your seats with the other contestants. Josephine, would you join me at the podium for the final dilemma?
Carmine's not going to move.
Carmine.
He's going to look at Brian. He's going to say, do you know what would happen if I got rid of all the assets for Goldman Sachs right now?
Why don't you explain it into the camera?
Which one?
He'll kind of like turn you and gesture you towards like one that's like face, like it's almost like a face cam in the podium.
All right, because if I have to hear my daughter bitch and moan about this one more time, I'm going to cut both of my ears off and mail them to her.
America is all ears, Carmine.
Excellent. Listen. If I get rid of Goldman Sachs versus CJ's, whatever the fuck that little restaurant is in a town that I'm never going to visit and probably has shitty food anyway, some other big corporation would just eat up all of their assets. How many fucking employees did you say that Goldman Sachs has? 43,000 people would be out of a job. $1.2 trillion just vanishes in assets managed from the economy. All right, nobody likes capitalism except for the people that explicitly benefit from it, but you can't deny that there would be some kind of financial collapse. And for your fucking game show, fuck CJ's Public House in Rockford, Illinois. Is that good? Is that what you wanted to hear, Brian?
I'm sure America is making their opinions right now, Carmine. But more importantly, we're here to discover things about each other. This is a competition about you and your relationship to everyone else behind you.
Hey, Carmine, come on, sit down. The producer's just mad he doesn't get to line his pockets with that money.
He is going to come back and sit down at that unfairly stink-eyeing Brian. And hands shaking, he'll pour himself another glass of wine. And he'll say, yeah, fucking $43 million in this son of a bitch's account over my dead body.
Thank you, Doctor. Josephine, please, join me at the stand.
Let's see what I get up to.
Will you make little boy fall down, or dog take toy away?
I just refuse to choose. I let
Dog
my
will be
little
sad
boy-
if toy goes away. He doesn't know what's happening. But little boy fall down, physical pain.
Brian wheels out a third screen and he goes, sorry, not yet. He goes, Josephine, Do you like me? Screen number 2 says yes. Screen number 2 says no. Then somebody wheels out a CRT that says maybe.
Do you want to go on a date with me,
No.
Ray Bachman?
No.
Kill the loved one.
No.
Kill him.
What about
You're
me,
my
Josephine?
Squid Game, no. We said we wouldn't do this.
Squid Game, I'm not going to ask her that. I'm not, because I'm not.
Alright. There's an official photo of a man dressed in a police officer's uniform, a shoulder holster, and an ironed-on patch on his jacket that reads DEA, and it's shown on screen number 1. This is Captain Dwight Barber, an agent of the DEA in Little Rock, Arkansas. I almost read it as Arkansas. It was best known
In Little Rock, Arkansas, he finally breaks and just runs off screen crying.
It was best known for leading a team of officers on a sting that seized over 10,000 pounds of cocaine from the city and its surrounding area in 2018. Since then, he has seen the arrests of over 35 individuals involved in the trafficking of cocaine, as well as established programs in the area for addicts to seek help and recovery, and offer counseling to those affected by the coke ring, and effects of addiction on family members, and the violence that occurred during the heights of the ring's activities. Now please, bring your attention to screen number 2. On that screen, a Pacific Island woman is shown dressed in pearls and a maroon suit jacket. She's standing in front of an American flag. This is Ailani Maho, a city council member in Central Point, Oregon. She's made waves in the Jackson County community, which has historically leaned conservative by breaking the mold and leading the county, yikes, she's leading the whole country,
Yeah.
and her city in a liberal direction, starting with advocating for the legalization of marijuana in 2014. Since then, she's been outspoken against her conservative counterparts, advocating for organizations such as Black Lives Matter, the National Organization for Women, and Planned Parenthood. These two outstanding citizens have one thing in common. They both enjoy the pleasures of shopping online. As such, both have exposed their information somewhat irresponsibly to the open internet. That's where you come in. You're going to decide which one of these two strangers is going to have their identity stolen. The producer will have access to all of their stored information, including both personal and classified information relating to their respective positions. This information will be leaked and circulated online in the fastest spreading communities when they are the most active in their respective time zones. Information will be encoded and redispersed every time it is removed from the internet.
Oh my god.
So who's it going to be? The DEA officer from Little Rock, keeping his community clean, or the councilwoman from Central Point, who's trying to make a difference? Lock in your decision when you've made your choice. Your time starts now.
Josephine is going to be tapping her foot throughout this entire thing. It just keeps getting faster and faster, and when the timer finally starts, she just turns around and grabs one of those bottles of wine and starts pouring a glass for herself.
Oh, jeez.
And she is going to just kind of hold it there for a second and then turn around tersely and look from left to right for a second.
Ah, sorry.
You make it worse.
Yes. Good wine, right? Hey, I'm from New York.
Jeez.
Yeah, fucking nothing. You can tell that there is a fucking just tidal wave of anxiety kind of built up, but that's about it.
Yeah, he is just going to unhelpfully say, I get it, it's a hard decision.
Yeah, I know. I'm making it. I'm sorry.
Trent is just gonna shout out, "We don't like fucking snitches."
What, me now?
Trent makes a compelling argument.
Get rid of the narc.
Fuck the police. Pardon the editorialism.
All I know is that he's done a good job, this DEA agent. He's doing good work, right?
I'm afraid all the information you have is on the screen before you, Josephine. You're going to have to make your decision in 4 minutes and 36 seconds.
Fine, that gives me 3 minutes to finish this glass and another minute to think it over. She just
Take the
kinda
time
just
you need.
drinking it for a second and looks between the two of them. What is the state of you? No, I'm not gonna get it. She is going to bring her hand to the right and press down.
All right.
So, the city council member.
So she's choosing for the council member to have their identity stolen.
Yep.
Sorry, I have to clarify because obviously. Brian will say,
Boo.
"Excellent choice." Go ahead.
That's all Trent says is
Oh, he says
bootlicker.
boo.
No,
Yeah, boo
bootlicker.
fucking who. Yeah, I agree.
Now, please return to the other contestants.
She will down the rest of her glass and put it on the table and sit down hardly.
Well, don't relax just yet, contestants. There's one final dilemma. Only this time, you'll all be deciding as a group.
Huh.
Please, bring your attention to both screens. The television screens show 2 operating rooms. One over the similar CCTV camera angle, and a team of surgeons in full medical gear is performing open heart surgery on an unseen patient on each screen. I know it's a grisly sight. Try not to look away. Before you are 2 patients in different hospitals across America. Both are in the process of receiving life-saving operations to their hearts. It looks like they're both going to pull through, if all goes well, but contestants, all is not going to go well. One of these hospitals is about to lose power. Not only that, their emergency generator houses will be remotely deactivated, leaving these operating rooms and other procedures in the hospital in total pitch black darkness.
You
No
gotta
life
be
support,
fucking kidding me.
no communication devices, nothing. You will all decide together which patient survives the ordeal and which patient is not waking up from the anesthesia. I will remind everyone of rule number 3. You must make a binary decision. If you fail to make a decision or refuse altogether, you will be disqualified and your loved one will be eliminated. So now please listen closely to the following information. On screen number 1 is Douglas Farley, aged 46. He's a father of 3 and a grandfather of 1. He's a business driver for the local school district in Mesa, Arizona. He's currently being operated on at Banner Heart Hospital, where there are a total of 111 patients that are being treated. On screen number 2 is Haley Johnson, aged 31. She has no children, but is engaged to her fiancé, Scott Torres, and they are to be wed in the summer of 2022. She's an elementary school teacher in Newport, Rhode Island, where she teaches the 4th grade. She's currently at Newport Hospital, where there are a total of 203 patients currently being treated. The console will light up, and there are 2 boxes respecting both choices, one for the Douglas Farley and one for Haley Johnson, which I'll write out in chat here in just a second. The time will illuminate to read 30 minutes. Looks like Dave's doing it for me. Or
No, Kane was on top of it.
Back. You will all lock in your votes the way that you have been, with your thumbprint inside one of the 2 boxes. However, there is a new condition for this final challenge. The vote will need to be unanimous. You may change your vote as many times as you like, but until all 5 of your unique thumbprint signatures appear in one box, a decision will not count as final. Also, if a unanimous decision cannot be reached, then both hospitals will lose power and both patients will die. So long as everyone has voted, at least your loved ones are safe. But then you know at least one of those deaths was your fault. As the producer has determined, only one needs to die today. I'll leave you to make your decision. Think it over carefully, but don't take too long. You have 30 minutes. Starts now. Brian's
He
fingers are
runs out of
trembling.
the room like he's trying to
Thanks,
hide.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian is,
Brian crouches behind the podium.
despite doing a very convincing, like he is the one who has put this challenge in front of you, his hands are unmistakably trembling as he reads these last lines that are delivered to him. And he backs out of the room through a door over here, over to the side. You
Take
are all
some-
left.
Take some deep breaths, Brian. Gather yourself. It will pass soon.
He'll actually smile back at you from the confines of the little black space he's in over here before he exits. And you are all left alone.
He just reclines back and continues writing in a journal that he has been.
Carmine's gonna take his glasses off and start pinching the bridge of his nose.
Wine? Wine, anyone?
Yes, please.
All right. Anyone else?
Fuck. So it's a few good men, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking so. 203 versus 111.
Yeah, are we numbers, or are we just sort of spinning around and picking one?
Well, we'd all have to spin around and pick the exact same one. That's how this game works.
Otherwise, both hospitals black out.
Well, one of us spin around and pick one, and then we all just go with it.
It's better, sure. But how about we talk this out first? I, for one, am trying to kill as few people as possible.
Yeah, which means Newport Hospital. That one's got more patients. Fuck. Can I roll lore, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, to know which of the hospitals is likely to have more people that are,
Gay.
like, no.
Life
Like
support?
which one sees more operations, yeah.
Okay, which
Like,
one normally sees
So
more?
are either one of them specialized in terms of like is one a general hospital and one like a heart hospital, or like one that people typically go to for surgeries?
Yeah, does one have like a big ER?
Wow.
Can I
No.
Zero, you don't know.
can I re-roll that based
No.
on my high concept that I'm a fucking doctor and I also went to medical school on the East Coast?
You may for a fate point.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes.
But it's gonna cost you.
It's gonna cost you.
So, Dave, I hope you're sitting down. You can do that, but you do have to use a fate point to re-roll that. There we go.
Fate didn't
Alright.
have it originally, but then an intrepid player begged, pleaded to the heavens, God, is there any way I can re-roll this? I have an idea.
So you're wanting to know between the two hospitals which one does more operations?
Basically, so my thought is this, that not all hospitals are the same, and that one might be just a general hospital, which means it could have people in there that are not necessarily like special, like you don't like, so like literally in Rochester, like we have Strong Hospital that is like 90% operations versus like Rochester General that might be like, you know, normal amount. We'll say like 1/3 of the people are there for surgery versus,
Right.
you know, it could just be people that are there just getting general treatment.
So you know, based on this lore roll, that though the number is lower at Banner Heart Hospital, there are more patients that go there for surgeries because it is more specialized in surgeries and intensive care operations. So there are less patients, but they're treating more severity overall.
All right. And so that we actually play this out where I spent a fate point, Carmine will stand, a wine glass in hand, and he's going to say, I just need some fucking time to think. Hold on. I know. Banner Hospital, Newport Hospital. And I'm going to burn 8 minutes off the clock just talking aloud. Fucking, like, trying to recite statistics of, like, what I understand.
Cool.
Before I finally arrive at it, and I say, okay, shit. So you said Banner, so that's the
Yep.
first one?
Banner's the first one.
So Banner's got fewer people in it, but there's likely to be a higher density of operations. Realistically, we're going to kill fewer people if we cut the power at Banner, because Newport's a general hospital. Plus, Population is small there. There's a chance that the beds aren't all full.
Josephine will say, listen, you're a doctor, so I'm going to trust you when it comes to hospitals. If it was a courtroom, I might be trusting that one. You're telling me that they would be ready for a blackout at Newport, right? Is that what you're saying?
They would be ready for a blackout if they weren't also remotely deactivating the generator house. What I'm saying is, at Banner Hospital, there's going to be more people in the operating room right now than there is at Newport Hospital. You're looking at people with tummy aches or scraped elbows or legs in a cast versus open heart surgeries.
No, I got it. They're going to be cut open, then the power goes out, and then they die. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're thinking like how close is emergency responders?
No, I'm just trying to think it all. I'm just thinking. We're all just thinking, right?
We're all just thinking here. Right now I'm leaning toward Banner. I know it's fewer beds, but it's likely more people that would die when that power goes out.
Fine, that makes sense. Anyone else?
I'll just pick whatever anybody else is picking.
All right, easy. Going down the line, Samuel.
Why don't we just let them both die?
Okay, I don't like this attempt at humor.
I'm gonna try to see if he's joking. Fuck!
The room didn't like it.
I think he's telling the truth.
Sean, what did you do about that?
I rolled a
Yeah, yeah, he rolled.
Oh, it's
Oh,
private.
are we doing private to see rolls?
No.
Just for
Shit.
that one.
Okay, you
Or...
think he's telling the truth.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, the way I see it is either one of these will put on the chopping block. And either way you slice it, you're going to have to live with the fact that a bunch of people got killed because you made the wrong decision. So, just take them all.
If we choose one of these hospitals to keep the power on, then one of them doesn't black out. That doesn't make any fucking sense. We're not doing shit. The producer's doing this.
I agree. The wrong decision is no decision. We're gonna make a choice. So long as we all make a choice, our loved ones are safe. So you may not give a damn about those people, but I'm sure you care about your loved one. Partner, whatever the hell you want to call them.
Well, old timer, what do you think of this? You think us actually choosing one of these is playing into this game? Does it help your case that you're trying to build?
He looks up, reluctant to have been called upon. He removes his glasses and closes his journal. And he says, in the event that these acts are actually going to transpire, we have been placed, so you could say, at the lever of the trolley. Now, that is the quintessential problem we are facing. Inactivity, you might see, is separating you from responsibility. However, I believe the awareness of something makes one inherently complicit, and the only thing evil needs to thrive is the inaction of a good man. Unfortunately, to let both go, while I have no input on which of these is better or worse further than the doctor's diagnosis, I do testify that inactivity is tantamount to complicitness in this case.
Oh my god.
Sean, what's your
He
goal here?
vaporizes me with math.
Oh!
Yeah, the multiplication table takes you to pieces.
I'm trying to figure out that if two hospitals lost power in that time at the exact same moment,
Would that be noticed by any federal government? Would they
Um,
notice that 2 hospitals were taken off the grid at the exact same moment?
Based on your logic, not immediately, but you would know that eventually that would be reported and very notable to someone higher up. It's just unfortunately because it's only 2, it would take a little bit longer, especially if they were isolated attempts, and it would matter how well the producer covered their tracks, which you don't unfortunately know enough about that. But you do know that it would make it somewhere someday. And
what are how
sooner
far are
rather than
these? How far are these apart?
in space, like the 2 hospitals? Oh man.
Yeah, like
I
what
gotta
state?
reach that next
Well,
one.
like what states? Probably not
okay.
miles.
I gotta reread.
Because it's a big country. I see what he's getting at. It's a big country.
Right.
It-
One was
even if
in-
even if they go off at the exact same moment, who's really tracking that? Who's going to connect that for a
Exactly.
good long time?
So, Newport, Rhode Island, and
Mesa, Arizona.
Arizona. So
Oh,
Rhode
no one's
Island
going to
and
give a
Arizona.
shit.
Yeah.
It's not New York or
Plus
California.
in Arizona, I feel like a hospital blacking out.
So-
So with a 5,
Go.
can he know the difference between would it be more attention drawing to have 2 go off instead of just 1?
Yes. So I guess with a 5 logic, I'll tell you that someone would probably pay more attention to this if 2 hospitals went down at the exact same time in the exact same way. That being said, you also know that they may not care. They may read it off as a one-time event. They'd pay more attention to it if both hospitals went down at the same time, and both generators failed at the same time.
But it's not enough to draw immediate attention to it.
I mean, I wouldn't know that anyway. I'm just wondering if that would be a thing.
I'd say part of this logic puzzle to consider is that ostensibly someone is attempting to broadcast this to America, so
Eventually they'll know.
attention on it
Eventually, yeah.
is.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know if it's actually even getting televised.
We don't know when it's going to air. Like if Sean's trying to think we get ahead of this before it airs.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Samuel's going to voice. He's going to say, if you take 2 things as big as hospitals off the grid at the exact same moment, you might just catch the eye of some people. May have certain opinions about this game, ones that might not agree with the producer.
Might. May. Maybe. We don't know.
But we could definitely save one of these hospitals. Look, I'm gonna lock in my vote for Banner until I hear an argument that changes my mind.
Let me really quick make just like a little check mark box up top here. I believe that'll be. Oh, where's my draw shape?
And just fucking dripping with sweat, he's gonna put his thumb down
I
and
don't like
Ew.
yeah. I mean,
Ew.
you guys don't sweat when you're nervous?
No.
No.
No one here is sweating.
Never
Check.
have.
I'm gonna Google. Is it normal to sweat? No. Oh.
The bolded search results on Google are, it is a huge problem to sweat.
You should be scared.
WebMD says you're gonna die.
WebMD, dude, I'm freaking out.
Man, this is. I really wish they had like something that would let you do like locked in shapes. You know what I mean? Not just the fucking.
Like the
outlines.
square tool.
Yep, there is.
Yeah, there's a shape tool.
Yeah. Doesn't that just do outlines?
You have
No.
to pick a second
Oh.
color.
Oh.
How do I
I
rotate
didn't know
text in MS Paint?
the second, well, it's like everything else in Roll20. It's not intuitive. That second color that's transparent, you have to make that a solid color too.
Oh.
Mhm.
Aha. I've never done that before. Interesting.
Yep.
All
I like
right.
how the room's filling with igloo blocks.
Well, these are
You didn't say igloo blocks.
these are your 2 choices. We'll do left as.
I just walk up and
Yeah.
lodge my vote for Banner as the doctor just did.
All right.
Cool as a cucumber and not sweating. I do so and turn around and untuck my journal and
Why the fuck can't I select draw shape?
turn to my seat.
Trying to help you out here.
Trent goes and presses Banner, only sweating because he's doing some reps in the corner.
Whoa, really?
No.
Okay.
Damn!
He's like,
I don't remember the other one. Newport.
Newport.